welcome back to another video. This is the Rational Wrestling Talk podcast, another edition of Wrestling Hot Takes. So in this edition, we're going to be discussing about AEW's Death Riders. And I got to say, I've been waiting to make a video about this because I'm not going to be like everyone else and jump to conclusions on whether or not if I hate this faction or not, or decide whether or not if it's a complete failure or if it's a smashing hit for AEW. Because this is AEW's bread and butter. All right, we got to make that clear. Because in the Death Riders, you have your AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, who is the face of AEW, the top guy in AEW. Okay. And most of the attention, most of the eyes is going to be on that group to succeed. More pressure is going to be on the creative team and the people involved to really get this over and for it to be a success for AEW. Now, it's been about 6 months since the Death Riders had formed, where they turned on Bryan Danielson, they betrayed him, they manipulated Wheeler Yuta to join their group. And, you know, in the beginning, I was just under the assumption that Shane McMahon, just like everyone else, that Shane O'Mac was going to be a difference maker when it came to this group, when it came to this faction. There seemed to be a door open for Shane to come in AEW and really spice some things up, get the momentum rolling, and really get the momentum rolling and start cooking. But I think what happened was that Shane just lost interest and decided that he wants no parts of this company that's not doing very well. Now, we've given the Death Riders plenty of time to show that they are a success in AEW. Are they the reason AEW is doing good numbers, good business? Ticket sales are increasingly getting high. Are they the reason for that? Or are they just another reason as to why AEW continues to be on the decline? I think it's more so the latter. In the beginning, the Death Riders had a decent beginning, right? A pretty good start. Because with them taking Bryan Danielson out and most of the roster coming out in shock, you know, like they made it this big deal at Wrestle Dream where Jon Moxley beat Bryan Danielson. They sent him packing on retirement, and then they executed that heel turn with Wheeler Yuta. You know, with them manipulating him into turning on Bryan Danielson. You know, I thought with that was done pretty well, and how we got to that point. You know, Wheeler Yuta was definitely gaining some sympathy because he was caught off guard when Pac, Claudio, Moxley, and Marina, you know, were taken over and had gone completely rogue and wanted to reshape AEW. Made it seem like Wheeler Yuta had no idea what was going on. That, you know, them turning on Bryan Danielson, he had no clue what was happening. And so now, you know, coming away from Wrestle Dream, you know, this group has definitely struggled to find some momentum. And I really don't know what it is that's not getting this group over. Because when you look at Jon Moxley, he's cutting fantastic promos. His mic work has gotten so much better over the past few years since he's been in AEW. And then you're starting to see everyone else follow suit. Claudio has cutting better promos. Pac has cutting better promos. It's like, yeah, these guys associate themselves with Moxley. They become better they become better talkers, essentially. And the backstage vignettes are pretty good as well. I ain't got no problem with the vignettes. I think the vignettes that they're doing and what they continue to keep on doing have been very unique, and it makes them stand out even more from the rest of the roster. The concept in itself of the Death Riders is very good, but the execution is not too good. The execution has been lackluster, to say the least. And if I'm being honest, I really don't know what it is that's making the execution so lackluster. What's really not helping this group is that Jon Moxley, even though he's cutting the best promos of his whole entire career, his matches suck. I just got to call it like it is. His matches are boring, are dull, lackluster, underwhelming. There's nothing exciting about watching a Jon Moxley match in 2025 anymore. It just isn't. I could not watch his match with Shibata because it was just boring to watch. And this has been a pattern where he's had these world title main events and they just have not been good. His matches with Swerve, take for example, at Dynasty, that wasn't really good. You know, his match with Cope at Revolution, that was the shits. The Fatal 4-Way, it was probably whatever. And then his matches with Orange Cassidy were not that good. It wasn't blowing anybody away at all. Even his match with Bryan Danielson, it kind of lacked. It was, it was just whatever, And with Jon Moxley, it's more about, and this is where I can appreciate, right? I can appreciate the character work that's being done here with the Death Riders, okay? There is a little bit of storytelling. There's a little bit of character work. I have to mention that. With everyone saying the Death Riders are killing AEW, now that's something I have to disagree with, okay? Because AEW was already on the decline way before the Death Riders even came about. We can't blame it solely on the Death Riders. Yes, they are the main faction. They are the main event storyline in AEW. But at the end of the day, they are not the sole reason as to why Tony Khan, his product, is not doing too well. And we just want to blame it all on Jon Moxley, when it's more than just the Death Riders. Okay? Like I said, the execution has not been that very good. And there's definitely been some storyline gaps. Some things are not being explained. Some things are just kind of up to your own interpretation of what the whole concept is supposed to be about. The only real explanation that we got from this faction was on their YouTube page, where Renee Paquette did like a basement interview with the whole group. And they spent about 20 minutes, each of them explaining their motive and giving their reasoning and explaining what their purpose actually is in AEW. And watching it, it was just a disconnect the whole time. Because everything Jon Moxley was saying, it just was not clicking. Once again, great talker. But you can be a great talker, but as a viewer watching, it still won't click. Like sometimes a good talker cannot click with the audience, right? If that makes sense. Sometimes even the best talker, when they're cutting a promo, it's what they're saying, it just doesn't resonate or it doesn't click with the viewer or the fan watching or listening. It's almost like he was talking in circles the whole time, right? The way I'm looking at this faction, it's more like a cult. More than anything else, it's a cult. That's the best way I can describe this faction. That it's four people, following the leader's vision of what they want AEW to be. Okay? Following the vision and executing the vision, which we really don't know what that vision is for AEW when it comes to the Death Riders. We still don't know. And that's something they have to explain. Okay, just attacking everybody backstage, attacking the old veterans, attacking old people, tying them up, trying to, force down chemicals down another man's throat, and, stomping people's head in through a steel chair and breaking people's necks, taking people, out, putting them on the shelf, throwing Darby Allin down the stairs. All that stuff it's cool, I guess, but it's like, what's really the motive here? Like, the Death Riders are just doing things just to do things, attacking whoever they want to attack. Okay? The world title itself is not really important. The world title is secluded in a briefcase. And my whole thing is, if Jon Moxley doesn't care about the world championship, why is he carrying it? Why does he have it in a briefcase? Why are you even the champion to begin with if you don't care about the championship? It just defeats the purpose of being a champion if you don't care about it, right? And that was my whole thing, my biggest gripe with Jon Moxley. It's like, why are you holding a belt that you don't care about in the first place? Why not just relinquish the title and be more about the vision you want AEW to be, So there's definitely a disconnect, right? And they're definitely not connecting the dots at all with this whole concept of the Death Riders and the whole storyline. I think if they had found a way to include Shane McMahon into this, I think would have been 10 times better. Right? I mean, there's a reason Shane was not on board. Probably a good reason. We'll probably never know that reason. But however, it's been 6 months now, ever since October, and I've been patient with this whole storyline, but now I'm at a point where I'm having a hard time finding any fucks to give at this point. So I'm just at a point now where I'm ready for this to be over and done with. Is it going to be Will Ospreay, or is it going to be Darby Allin that beats Jon Moxley for the world title and just wrap this whole thing up? Because, like I said, the execution has not been good. Once again, great concept. I think it gives Moxley more of an identity going forward, gives Claudio, Pac, Marina, Wheeler more of an identity. I think the weakest link is Wheeler Yuta, and I could see them. And see, that's the thing. There's more storyline in that group with Wheeler Yuta. There's more of a story to be told with Wheeler Yuta in the group. Him being the lackey, him being the weakest link, him being treated like a lapdog, someone that is easily beaten, right? But you know, the story to me just seems out of place, and there's definitely some missing plot holes, I would say. Some things are just not connecting at all. So I'm just trying to see where this is all going to go. What's the end game with this? Okay, is every member going to turn on Jon Moxley? Is Wheeler Yuta going to finally snap on Jon Moxley and turn on him? Okay, would Marina finally get sick and tired of bailing Jon Moxley out of a bad situation? Anytime he's about to lose, here comes Claudio, here comes Pac, here comes Wheeler, here comes Marina to save the day. Will that story be told to where, okay, we're tired of bailing you out, we're tired of always helping you win here, you can't seem to win any matches on your own anymore? But I don't know. I don't know what's the end game with this, but I'm just kind of done with it and over with the whole group. It's not doing AEW any good numbers. It's not helping AEW as a company as a whole, right? It doesn't seem to be moving the needle at all anymore. Yes, in the beginning it was promising because it was something brand new. It was something different. The concept was unique. But like I said, the execution has been poor. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Make sure to like and comment and share. The Death Riders, have they been a smashing hit or have they been a colossal failure? I'll leave that up to y'all. For me, I can care less. I have zero fucks to give at this point. I've been trying to be patient. I've been trying to hold out some type of hope with this faction that's going to be moving the needle in some type of way and just kind of seeing what happens. I didn't want to jump to conclusions so soon and just write them off, because there was some things about the group that I was kind of digging. The fact that Marina, she's a female and she can beat up men, and that gives her something to do. She feels more important now, right? With Claudio, Wheeler, and Pac, they have more of an identity now in AEW. They feel more important. I can guarantee you, you take those three away from Jon Moxley, they're back to where they were a year ago in that mid card. They're no longer important. So without Jon Moxley, they're nothing. So they kind of need Jon Moxley in order to succeed, right? So I guess for the group, for the sake of keeping these guys relevant, you gotta keep them together, so it does have some type of purpose. But I think the overall direction, it's been kind of lost on a lot of fans. So I don't know. So that being said, thank you all for watching. This is another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk Podcast. I'm out, and peace.